guys, welcome to the Create the Life You Love with Georgia Woodbine, a podcast with the Chapters Network. And I am so happy to be back with you guys today. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I missed you. Anyway, I am your host, Georgia Woodbine, and I'm very excited about this podcast because it's here to share information. It's here to provide content that's going to give you actionable tips and strategies on how to grow your business and how to grow in your life professionally and personally. So that's what this show is for. And I'm so happy that you decided to come and join us today. So I just want you guys to know to be free to share your comments if you have questions. Like I said, the purpose of this podcast is to really share the knowledge and empower you to be your best and to live in your highest potential because that's what it's about, right? It's all about creating the life you love. So remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And remember, don't forget to go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com. At this time, I would like to welcome my guest, Jeff Hozias. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, but I sure am. We would like to welcome my guest. Jeff Hozias is an associate broker at Barada and Company Realty and is part of Rockland and Westchester's most highly regarded and dedicated real estate agents. Jeff is most known for his aggressive negotiation strategies, attention to detail, and a top line professional marketing, which gives his clients the ability to sell his listings at top dollar. With a proven track record, his assets and classes and residential single and multifamily properties to commercial multifamily properties, retail, and business portfolios, Jeff Hozias and his team are prepared to deliver the highest and best quality experience. Let's welcome our guest, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Georgia. How are you?
How you doing? I hope I gave you justice reading your bio because you're doing a phenomenal job.
No, that was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Now, why don't we start out a little bit about you sharing your backstory and why you even decided to get into the real estate business?
Sure. So, it actually started with my parents. My parents, my family we're Russian immigrants, and I was actually the first, generation born in the United States. So my parents, as they saved for retirement. My father started buying up, a property here and there as an effort to, create some, a possible retirement for, my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch them work really, really hard, save up a lot of money, and buy a property. And every few years, they would buy one.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gave me the bug, as you would say.
Right.
But I started looking into it, and then I kind of wanted to figure out how can I get into this business, into the family business, and how can I kind of take it to the next level. That's
Right.
I figured there has to be a better way than just slaving away for years and years, penny pinching just to save up that 20% down.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that being just getting out of college,
Mm-hmm.
having very, like, I mean, I was a sociology major, so I didn't really have a career path or anything like that.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I realized very quickly that getting my real estate license was really the path of less, it's the lowest barrier to entry to get into the business and to learn. So that's what I did. And
Mm-hmm.
then turns out I, I did it as a way just to learn and, get my foot in the door, but I kind of fell in love with the business and fell in love with, helping clients get into a property and, uh, overcoming all the obstacles to get
Mm-hmm.
there. And no transaction, I'm sure no
Yeah.
transaction is the same, right? There's always a
Mhm.
different obstacle, and it's
Yes.
it's a lot of fun, and you're helping
Yes.
people buy homes and invest. So
Well, that's one of the biggest purchases that somebody will invest in. But
yeah.
you said something that was really important, and you said that you love what you do. And that's really why I created this podcast because it's really about getting people to start seeing things differently to create the things that they want, because we all have the ability to do that. The key to success is really being in alignment with your goals. And like you said, there were certain things that you wanted to learn and grow, and then you just kind of like fell into it and you're like, you know what, this could be it. And I think that a lot of people struggle with finding out, what is it that I'm good at? What is it that I can contribute to my business that's going to make it succeed? And so the key to success is really, your thoughts and your actions cannot be incapable with what you're trying to create, right? So whatever it is you're trying to create, you have to take action. You have to, um, because no activity means no productivity, right? So you have to take action. And the only limitations I think that people have is really the ones that they create in their own mind. So why don't you share with us like one of the most important lessons that you've learned, and not just in your career but also in your personal life, because I think they entangle at some point. Why don't you share that with us?
Sure. So lessons. So career wise, I guess one of the best lessons or phrases you could say is, take care of the work and the work will take care of you. When you do your work diligently and you really put your heart into it, and
Mm-hmm.
you work ethically and you really care about, a lot of people call us salespeople, but we're really not salespeople. We're really,
Mm-hmm.
I can't convince somebody to buy a house they don't want to buy. you
Right.
know it's I think when you take good care of people, people trust you, people like you, and people want to, refer back to you. So,
Mm-hmm.
take it, you take care of the work, and everything else will fall into place.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. I mean, I think that one of the things that I always talk about as a life coach is that there are three types of people in the world, right? That I've come across. One is misplaced achievers. Those are people that are frustrated with their jobs. They feel that they're not being paid what they're worth, and they just hate going to work every day, right?
Yep.
They're misplaced achievers. Then
Hmm.
you have the successfully discontent. Those are people that, they may have the money, they may be successful in their careers, but they're missing, like you said, that passion. They're missing the love for what they do, and they really feel like their life doesn't have a sense of purpose. Those are successfully discontent. And then you have the last category of people. I think everybody's trying to get into that group, and that's successful achievers. Those are the people that have figured out how to align their gifts, their talents, their natural abilities, and they get paid to do what they love,
Yep.
right? So I think that everybody's trying to get into that last group, and sometimes it gets a little clouded. And think about the pandemic. I mean, I think a lot of people got into the real estate business during the pandemic, including myself. So,
Yep.
I think that people jump into things, but they don't really think about, well, how can I make this work for me based on my education, based on my skill set, based on the things that I love to do, and how can I connect those dots and make it work for me in business, which is so so important. Now, I want to find out from you, how do you define success? Like, what does success mean to you?
So to me, I think, and I've been the person that goes to work and hates my job and is successful, but just, so in my opinion, I think waking up Monday morning and being excited
Mm-hmm.
to get up early and get after it, I think that's success. And as long as whatever you're doing is, you know, something that makes you happy and gives you enough income to live comfortably, whatever that means to you, I think that's success.
Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, success is different things for different people.
Hmm.
Success to one person can mean I want to spend more time with my family. Success to another person can mean I want to see more money in my bank account. So, for different people, success means different things. So it's so important. And I think even in life, like that question, it's so important for you to know your why. It's so important for you to create a mission statement. One of the things that I teach as a life coach, Jeff, is that everybody should create a mission statement for their life. As mission statements are not just for organizations, not for profits, and for big companies. Everybody should have their own personal mission statement. And what that mission statement does for your life is it gives you clarity and it gives you focus and it gives you direction. So you're not wasting your time doing things that don't align with
Hmm.
your core values, your morals, and things that you love, right?
Right.
So it's so important to understand what that mission statement is. And when you have a mission statement, you don't let things distract your purpose, right? You're very cautious with your time. You're not going to let people waste your time. You don't race and you don't chase
Hmm.
when you have a mission statement. You don't react to negative energy, and you don't let others control your time, and you don't let others monopolize your time. So having a mission statement is so important. And I'll just share quickly what my mission statement is, and that's kind of like what helps me not just in my life but also in business. So my mission statement goes like this: I, Georgia Woodbine, am here to inspire, empower, and motivate 1 million plus people to change their mindset to transform their lives. So that's what I focus on all the time. That's why I do this podcast. That's why I'm in business. That's why I write books. That's why I'm a life coach. That's why. So all of these things tie together to my mission statement. And so I think when you start to really think about what you want, then you understand why you're doing it. So like you were saying, like people get into business and real estate and they're just thinking, I just want to make a lot of money, but it can't just be for the money. You
Right.
have to have something deeper inside you that makes you want to do this, that's gonna what motivate you.
Hmm.
So what is can you share like three productivity hacks that helped you to build your business?
Sure. So, I mean, one of them is as far as starting out in the business. I'm sure Joe was probably your first broker, right? For me,
Yes.
he wasn't. So
Hmm.
I started out in a when I got into business with no guidance, nobody telling you how to do anything, and I'm not I'm not good at BSing. All right,
Hmm.
so I need to know that when I'm working, whatever I say as a professional, I need to know the facts. So
Hmm.
for me, it was learn before you earn. Before you can provide a value to somebody, you have to know what you're talking about, and you
Right.
have to be confident in what you know. All right. Um, Another couple ones that I really, that I live by is, start early. I think there's something about mentally about getting up a little bit earlier than the competition and, sending out some emails, getting ahead of the day. You don't, and the last one, you don't, outwork people.
Hmm.
You don't have to have any special skill. You don't have to be the smartest person, the
Hmm.
prettiest, the most handsome, the best shape, but you can outwork somebody.
Exactly. And it's so crucial because, when you really think about it, it's really about your mindset, right? That's
Hmm.
really what leads you to success. And there's one common denominator for anybody that's successful, and it's really about mindset. And people, they go far and far to search for what's the secret sauce to success.
Hmm.
And it's really your mindset because
It's not so secret.
it's no secret, right? It's your mindset. It's like
Yeah.
what you put into your mind, what you think. Because if you go into something, right, Jeff, and say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to try that because, I don't think I'm going to be good at that, or I'm going to fail at that, or because you
Hmm.
already set yourself up for failure.
I think whenever you want to like poke your toe into something, you're never gonna be super successful because no matter what you do, whether it's real estate, art, sports, there's always somebody that's obsessed, and you're gonna have to compete with that person who's obsessed.
Hmm.
So if you get into anything, whatever it is, it has to be something worth obsessing over and worth at least trying to be the best. If you're not
Hmm.
trying to be the best, somebody else is, and they're up against you.
Hmm.
So I like, and that's why I was really also excited to be on this podcast because creating
Hmm.
the life you love, I think we all can do it. We just have to
Hmm.
be, yeah, we have to be brave about it. I'm sure even for you, it wasn't, the easiest choice to, pull away or take time away from family, friends, and other stuff to build what you have, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. When people see your success, they don't really understand what you've done to get there. You've done what others don't.
Hmm.
You see what others don't see, and you do things that other people won't do. So it's so important to really take a good look at yourself. And there's so many benefits to setting goals. I think that setting goals and visualizing, that's what really helped me to be successful, Jeff. Like,
Yeah.
once I started to set goals and I started visualizing where I saw myself. And when I visualize, I don't just visualize and think. I see colors. I see what I'm wearing. I see what I'm doing. I see who I'm talking to.
You gotta
You
feel
have
it.
to, you feel it. You
Hmm.
embody it. It
Yep.
becomes a feeling. That's
Yep.
how visualization becomes manifestation. A lot of people don't understand how that works, the law of
I'm big on
attraction.
that. I'm big on the law of attraction. My mother kind of put me onto it when I was a kid, and ever since then, it's just kind of, it's always something in the back of my mind. But positive mental attitude, seeing where you want to be in 5 years, and you know really visualizing and living in your future self, and all that comes with being grateful for what you have, and humility, and being positive. So um, that's what I'm all about, and so are you. That's why we make
Exactly,
a good
exactly. Like
team.
minds attract.
100%, 100%.
And that's so big. I think that most of people's barriers are definitely from their mindset. And like, think about it. When we're kids, we're taught to think a certain way. We're taught that you have to go to college. We're taught that you have to get a job and work at a job for 30 years for you to be successful. And you really don't have to go that route. I mean, look at how time has changed with the pandemic. So many people are working from home. So many people have found or created new jobs. Influencers, think about that. They have a job. They get paid to influence people. Think about that. So
I,
it's like
I
there's
think the term success has changed from
it
what it was
has.
20 years ago, 10 years ago, to even today.
I
So
mean, it's so true. When I'm on vacation and I see these young people, and I'm thinking like, they're so young, but they're living life.
yep.
They're creating a life that they love. They're doing things on their own terms. They're not showing up somewhere 9 to 5 every day. They're like, look, I'm gonna post this picture. Okay, yeah, you gotta send me this, sell me this amount of money. It's so different. Times are so different. You
It's never
know,
been easier to create the life you love than in 2022.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh, it's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I don't feel like, when people say, Georgia, do you feel like you've cracked the code to success? And I always say yes. I have cracked the code, because guess what? I realize there's nothing missing. I realize that anything that I want is attainable with
hmm.
my mindset. I can create it. I can make it happen. So, once you have that, you become like unstoppable.
That's right.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you faced, initially when you first got started? Like, what are some of the things? Because, like, when you get into business, there's going to be days where you're like, you know what, this is not working. I need to try something else. Or you get a little frustrated. You get like, so why don't you share like some of the challenges you faced when you first started in business?
I don't even know where to start. Um,
So much.
yeah, this is This is only a 30-minute podcast. I mean, I'd say, and like, like, as I'm sure you would agree. I think one of the biggest challenges in this business, and why we have such a high failure rate, is because there's really no roadmap. There's no roadmap to to creating a successful real estate sales business. Um, at least I wasn't given one.
Hmm.
After years of listening to podcasts and so on, you kind of get the pattern, right? You cold call, you do cold call, you go after for sale by owners, expireds, family, friends, right? And you build a business like that. But the fact that there's no roadmap really delays the process, and I think that's why so many people don't stick around long enough to to reap the rewards.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I agree. I think that, but in life, in success, in business, and in anything, it's like you have to try things and see what works. So like what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. So I mean, I think with like having a blueprint, that's why there isn't any, because
Yeah,
people do different things that work for them. So
100%.
I
There's
think
a there's so many things that work, So everyone tries like a million things,
Mm-hmm.
but what works for Georgia doesn't work for Jeff. You
Right.
know, so you got people don't stick around, and I think whatever somebody likes to do, if you like it and you love whatever you're doing, I think you're just gonna do it for the love of it, and
Mm-hmm.
after a while, you're gonna get good enough to make some kind of income on it,
Well,
right?
and that, I mean, I totally agree because I love what I do. For me is I'm a part of people making that big decision when they
Hmm.
decide to move. A lot of my clientele is seniors, but I'm a part of a big life changing decision. A lot of these people are leaving their homes that's been in their homes for 40, 50 years.
Yep.
So being a part of that and helping them see that, okay, yes, now is the time to move and now is the time to, get out of the house. I think like you said, like I didn't realize how much I loved helping people in that way to help them make decisions. But then I realized that, well, Georgia, this is sales is really ties into life coaching because really that's what you're doing. You're advising your clients, you're telling them, you're basically telling them what to do, right? And they're listening
Hmm.
because you have the expertise and the experience. So, to do that I think is an amazing thing. Now, one of my signature questions, because I know we got a few minutes left, but one of my signature questions that I like to ask all of my guests is if you were to look in, because I know you're very young, Jeff, but just think about your
Hmm.
10-year-old self. If you were to look in the mirror and see your younger self, what would you tell him?
What would I tell my younger self? There's a lot. Honestly, right now, and this is something that changes. You ask me this tomorrow, it would probably change, but I'd say just have a good time, enjoy it,
Hmm. Enjoy the moment.
just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, because think about it. You know, enjoying the moment, the present moment. I think people get caught up on, oh my gosh, tomorrow and
Hmm.
yesterday. You can't worry about your past and you can't fret about your future. You have to focus on your present because guess what? That's all we have. Look at what happened in the pandemic. Nobody was expecting that to happen.
Yeah,
We didn't expect all of this to happen, but you know what? You have to learn how to work around it and how to figure out how to be a problem solver. And I think even in real estate, that's really what your job is to solve problems. Wouldn't you agree?
if there was no problems, we wouldn't have any job security.
Think about it. And I'm sure there's some deals where you're like, oh,
Too many
I
problems.
right, too many problems.
Yep.
You're like, oh my gosh, but guess what? And even, when I did my transaction, it was so many things that went wrong. Like everything that could go bad in a deal. And
Hmm.
Joe would say, Georgia, be happy that you're going through this right now because everything after this is going to be a piece of cake. So, but I love sales. I love
Yeah,
the real estate business. I know, like you said, when you just focus on your why, the money will come.
that's right.
Don't focus on the money. Focus on why you're doing what you're doing, and master what you do. Get better at what you do, and then it's going to happen
Hmm.
naturally. You're not going to have to force it. And that's why I'm like, I love life because I realize that the magic is created in the actions that you take. And as a human, I think that most people, they have an invisible lid. That invisible lid of fear of failure, that invisible lid of I'm not good enough, that invisible lid of, well, my family told me that I shouldn't try to do that because I'm not going to be good at that.
Take the
So
safe route.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think that, I think what you're doing is great. And like, I'm so glad that you're on the show. And I'm telling you, you're going to be doing a lot more of these. So
Yeah.
get ready. And you got a lot of great information to share. What I love about you, Jeff, is that you share information. And for me, that's the same way I am because the more you give, guess what? Reciprocity. The
Yep.
more you give, the more you get back. The more you give, the more you get back. So when you do things, don't always look for what's in it for me because when you have a different mindset, like you were saying about being humble, and your success will happen.
Yep.
It will happen because you're genuine and because you care about people, and like you were saying, Jeff, you're not just doing this just for the money. You're doing it because you are passionate about it and because you love being that middle person to make this deal happen. So I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. Do you have any last words of advice for people that's, changing careers, that's transitioning? Do you have any advice to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, look, the one piece of advice I'll say is we have one life. Don't, make the jump, make the leap, take the you know, take the risk to do what you love. You'll thank yourself for it.
You absolutely will. Thank you so much, Jeff. And
Thank you,
trust
Georgia.
me, I have worked hard to create the life I love and be able to control my time and do what I want, when I want, how I want. So, but there is a price. So, like
And
Jeff
it was
said,
worth it.
keep the faith, do the work, take the action, and always make sure that you set goals. Thank you, and until next time, thank you so much, Jeff. I'm going to definitely have you back, and take care until next time, guys.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.